So now we have, and hopefully Miss Watkins won't come over and bother me today. I don't know if any of you heard her last time, but I hope that you got to her class and gave her a very hard time about her interruptions in the video. If you haven't already done that, please do that tomorrow when you get to school. But we have now talked about addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You're probably still a little confused about parts of it. The hardest part of this is getting to where you can know when to use which rule, because people get them confused. They'll use the multiplication rules of same sign, make it positive, different signs, it's negative, and they'll start using that with addition, subtraction. That's where you get confused. So today, all we're going to do for homework is just make a quick chart that has all the rules. So that you'll have something to look back at. Anytime you see a problem, you can look back at this and sort of know what to do and how to answer the question. So that's what we're going to do real fast. Do a good job with this. Keep it nice and neat so that you have something to look back at later. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the middle of the paper. Let's not do that. Let's do just a triangle. I'm going to draw a triangle right in the middle of the paper. And in that triangle, write integer operations, just like this. All right. And then we're going to separate our paper into 4 different parts. I think I said triangle. I meant rectangle. But that's okay. It's been a long day. I wasn't actually at school today, so hopefully you'll forgive me that. Draw a rectangle like I drew, not a triangle. All right, so we're going to divide our paper into 4 spots. So just draw a line on your paper here, and then a line on this side. So that's going to divide it into half. Then we're going to divide it again here with 2 more lines. So right here, and then a line there, and that divides it into 4 parts. And you're going to go ahead and label your parts, each of the integer operations. So I'm going to come to this one, and I'll just type it so you can read it better. I'm going to call this one addition. And we'll come over here and do subtraction. And then down here, multiplication. And then lastly, division. Oops, division. All right, and as you've learned so far that we have, for most of these, we look at the signs. Same sign, we do something, and then if we have different signs, we do something different. So we're going to go ahead and fill this part in as well. For addition, multiplication, we're going to do something different than division. So leave the division completely blank for now. Now, I typed and copied, so it's probably going to take you a second. So pause the video, make your sheet look something like this, and then start it, and we'll continue from there. All right, now that you're set up and ready, you guys know these rules. We're just putting them in a chart so that you have something to look back at. If the signs are the same, you have learned that you add and keep the sign. So, for example, -5 plus -2 equals -7. Add and keep. If they're different, you have learned that you subtract, and what you're really doing is subtracting your 0 pairs. You get rid of them, just like we do with the chips. And you keep the sign. I'm going to put it in simpler terms, but really what you're doing is keeping the sign of the number with the largest absolute value. Just to simplify things, we're going to say subtract and take the sign of largest number. And really, once again, what we mean is the largest absolute value. So that would be subtraction. An example, or that would be addition with different signs. So, for example, 5 plus -8. You'd subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3, and you take the sign of the 8 because it's a larger number. Now, for subtraction, there's that bell again. Sorry. For subtraction, what you've learned is all you do, the only thing different is you add the opposite. That's what you did that day with the sub whenever I wasn't there. So you watch some videos, practice some worksheets, you learn to add the opposite with subtraction. So and then basically use your addition rules. So let's say you have 5 minus 8. The way that you would do that is you would change this to addition. And what's the opposite of 8? Well, negative 8. So 5 plus negative 8 would be, well, we've already done that one, it would be negative 3. Let's do one more example for subtraction. Let's do negative 3 minus negative 2. So once again, we don't subtract anymore. Subtraction is no more like you saw in that other video. You add the opposite. So we keep this how it is, change this to addition. What's the opposite of negative 2? Positive 2. And then we use addition rules. Negative 3 plus 2 will be negative 1. Now this is what you watched probably last night, depending on when this is. I think it would be last night. Multiplication and division. So if you have the same sign, this is so much easier than up here. So most people enjoy this. You just need to know everything's normal, the answer is positive. Different signs, everything's normal, the answer is negative. So as an example, with multiplication, same sign, negative 3 times negative 2, the answer is positive 6. Same sign's always positive. Negative 3 times positive 2, if they're different, it's always negative. So that would be multiplication. Division is exactly the same, which makes it even easier. It's not different. Same sign's positive, different sign's negative. So if we divided negative 18 divided by, remember a fraction bar means divided by negative 2, they're both negative, so it's a positive. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Same thing down here. Let's say we have a negative 18 divided by a positive 2. They're different this time, so it's a negative. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So that's a quick chart. You should have some examples on here, as well as sort of the rules. Anytime that you have a question about how to do these, the first thing you should do is look back at this chart. So before you ever raise your hand in class to say, how do I do this, have this chart out. Look at it, see if you can figure it out, and then ask for help if you need it. But try to use this chart to help yourself. And I do imagine I'm going to have some questions on how this works, but make sure that you have this chart with you and you're helping yourself some first.